Developing products and services for the enterprise sector is right at the top of every communications service provider to-do list right now. But what do the CSPs need to consider as they formulate their go-to-market strategies? Well, I'm talking today with David Hughes, SVP, Chief Product and Technology Officer, Aruba Networks, who was responsible for the overall product and technology strategy for Aruba's wired, wireless, security and software product portfolio. He is the founder and CEO of Silver Peak, which was acquired by HPE in 2020. Welcome, David. Great to talk to you. So how are the Aruba platforms and software helping service providers address the evolving needs of enterprise users?
Well, at Aruba, we bring everything together with what we call our Edge Services platform. It has three layers. The first layer is what we call a connect layer, and that's where we have a very broad portfolio of connectivity options, from wireless LAN through switching, through WAN gateways, SD-WAN connectivity, the ability to interconnect not just people, but also devices via a whole variety of different wireless protocols. The second layer we have is what we call protect. Today, it's not just enough to have connectivity, people want secure connectivity. And so in our protect layer, we include a whole variety of technologies around authentication, around policy enforcement, around segmentation to deliver that secure connectivity. And then the third layer in the ESP architecture is what we call our orchestration and AI ops layer, where we are translating that outcome or business intent into action, making it very easy for service providers or customers to configure and manage their networks on the basis of not what each individual device is doing, but rather what the network needs to deliver. We bring that all together under one management system called Aruba Central. So you've got 16 times Magic Quadrant leading wired and wireless portfolio. You've got a 4 times Magic Quadrant leading WAN edge infrastructure portfolio, all managed under one platform. That's what we bring for our enterprises and for service providers that want to build a managed service offering around our technology.
Okay, so in that context, do you see an opportunity for service providers to offer managed services that address networking and security needs delivered as a converged edge service?
Yes, I think one of the things that's happened in the industry, especially with the pandemic and people working from home, there's a realization that security and connectivity in some ways come together or overlap. And in the center of that Venn diagram is where you see secure connectivity. People want to have solutions that enable them to deal with the workers coming from home, coming from on the road, in the office, accessing applications in the cloud or accessing applications in the data center. They want to be able to support all those modes of work in a very consistent way. So getting good quality of service and enforcing consistent security policy. And this, has really triggered the interest in Secure Access Service Edge, or SASE, as Gartner coined it. What we've done is build out our portfolio with a lot of embedded security capabilities, but we recognize that in many cases, especially for large enterprises, there's no one vendor that solves all their networking challenges and all their security challenges. And so what we enable customers to do is build a best-of-breed solution with Aruba as the networking provider, Aruba as the on-prem and segmentation security provider, but then complement what we do with cloud-delivered security services like Secure Web Gateway and CASB, ZTNA, and so on from partners. And we've worked really hard with those partners to tightly integrate via API. So things like all of the service chaining to those cloud services is completely transparent to the user, to the operator, and all happens automatically. We're automatically determining the nearest points of presence, automatically sensing, which is going to give us the best quality, and directing traffic accordingly.
Now, with a return to the office seen as a priority for many companies, How do you foresee the post-pandemic resumption of business impacting the role of global service providers, especially as enterprise customers adapt a hybrid workplace approach that incorporates remote, work from home, and in-office operations?
Yeah, so there's multiple ways of addressing this, and it depends a little bit on the segment. But obviously, a lot of people are using VPN technology today. But I think as we go forwards, there are some other interesting options, and one of those is what we call the micro branch. So the idea of our Edge Connect micro branch offering is you have an enterprise class access point running Aruba software, working identically to what it would be in the office. You have that at home, and then it has built-in SD-WAN capability, so it can leverage multiple WAN links, providing really consistent service. It creates, if you like, a little bubble in your home where when you open your work laptop, it authenticates with that AP just like it authenticates at work. And it keeps the rest of your home network separate. So if you had teenagers in the house, maybe playing games or downloading malware or whatever it is next door, your micro branch is a bubble that's protected and separate from that. And so we're seeing micro branch being a really interesting opportunity, particularly for people working from home that need to use multiple devices. So call center employees or other people where a VPN from each individual device isn't going to give the same experience as what you would have in the office.
Now, what kind of opportunities do you foresee for increasing the adoption of automation, AI, and machine learning technologies by service providers? And how is Aruba helping service providers in this respect?
Yeah, so there's so many ways that AI can help things. I split it into thinking about what can you do within one network to make that one customer's network work better. And so there you may be monitoring the WAN conditions and adjusting traffic paths based on achieving goals and using machine learning to do that. Another example and a place where Aruba's really leading the pack is on fleet learning, where we're collecting anonymized data across all of our customers. And then we're able to use that to drive insights. So for instance, we could look across a whole slew of big box retailers and compare the kind of coverage they're getting, compare the number of unexpected disconnects they're seeing, see the bandwidth that their guest Wi-Fi users or their point of sale systems are getting, and compare that with other similar situations, and then correlate the settings and configuration and density of those environments with the outcome, with the business outcome, and make inferences and suggestions of how people could adopt best practices that would get their end users a better experience. So that kind of fleet learning and applying AI in that scenario is something where service providers can really work to provide a better experience for their enterprise customers.
Okay, yeah, it's a really interesting application there. Now, how will the emergence of Wi-Fi 6E, private 5G, and the new LEO satellite service providers such as Starlink, OneWeb, and Telesat affect service providers and their 5G strategies?
Yeah, well, I think there's always a lot of talk and a lot of excitement about 5G. But what I think is apparent is that the wireless access market is going to be hybrid and hybrid forever. You've got technology like Wi-Fi 6E and Wi-Fi 7 that's coming that provide really, really cost-effective coverage indoors and operational tools that enterprises are familiar with. You've got low Earth orbit satellite technology, which blankets the planet and provides access from almost anywhere, although perhaps with less overall capacity or support of high density, high bandwidth communications. And then you've even got technologies like LoRa that provide really low bit rate service, where someone just wants to call back once a day and send one or two packets that work across a very broad area. So you've got all these different wireless technologies. All of them have strengths and all of them have weaknesses. And I think when you look across the range of applications, whether it's IoT or it's connectivity from an oil field or whatever it may be, each of them lines up with a different kind of technology. And so at Aruba, what we're really focused on, obviously we started out as a pioneer in Wi-Fi, but we really see ourselves as wireless experts, and we're making sure that enterprises are able to seamlessly deploy these technologies. And so, one of the interesting things we've done is work on a technology we call AirPass, which allows really seamless roaming between Wi-Fi, public 5G, and private 5G. And that's the type of thing we think is going to be necessary in this hybrid wireless world.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt that enterprises just want the best service available at any time, and hybrid is the way to do that. David, great to talk to you today. Thanks very much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.